I didn't stay because I liked the place. I stayed because someone who hated me needed me gone. And the moment I realized that, leaving stopped being an option. I realized something was wrong. Not when he insulted me for the first time, but when he smiled after it. That kind of smile. It's not accidental. It's deliberate. Like someone enjoying a game only they understand. The room always smelled the same. Metal lockers. Boot polish. Something faintly chemical that clung to the air no matter how many times the windows were opened. 10 of us. 5 days a week. Same room. Same routines. Same silence, broken only by orders, footsteps, and the occasional forced laughter. And me. The only woman. You'd think I'd be used to that by now. I wasn't. Because being the only woman doesn't just make you different. It makes you visible. Every mistake feels louder. Every silence feels heavier. Every glance lingers just a second too long. And sometimes it makes you a target. I had only been there for a week when I noticed him. Not because he stood out, but because of how he looked at me. Like I didn't belong. Like I was something temporary. Something that needed to be corrected. The first time he spoke to me, it wasn't even a conversation. You're doing it wrong. No explanation. No guidance. Just that. Flat, cold, final. I remember blinking at him, waiting. Maybe he'd say more. Maybe he'd help. But he didn't. He just turned away. Like I wasn't worth the extra words. I told myself it didn't matter. People are like that sometimes. Cold. Distant. Unnecessarily harsh. But then it kept happening. Every interaction. Every glance. Every comment. You're slowing everyone down. You don't get it, do you? Why are you even here? And the strangest part. He didn't even know me. 1 week. That's all we had shared. 1 week of barely exchanged words. And somehow he had already decided who I was. I stayed polite. Always. Even when it burned in my chest. Even when my grip tightened just a little too much around whatever I was holding. Because I knew how this worked. If I reacted, I'd be emotional. If I snapped, I'd be difficult. If I defended myself, I'd be the problem. So I smiled. Answered calmly. Did my work. And let his words pass through me. Even when they didn't. But something about it didn't feel random. It wasn't just dislike. It felt targeted. Intentional. Like he needed me to feel smaller. And maybe the truth was simple. I was the only woman in that room. And in places like this. Sometimes that's enough. Not because you're weaker. But because someone decides you shouldn't be there. The ironic part. I didn't even want to be there. This group, this assignment. It wasn't something I had chosen. So eventually I made a decision. I'd leave. Find another group. Start over somewhere quieter. Somewhere lighter. And for a moment, it felt like relief. Like I could finally step out of something that never felt right. Until he heard about it. I still remember the way his face changed. It wasn't subtle. It wasn't hidden. It was excitement. Pure, unfiltered excitement. Wait, you're leaving, he asked. And there it was again. That smile. Wider this time. Real. For the first time since I had met him, He looked genuinely happy. But not for me. Because of me. After that, it became a routine. Every day. Multiple times a day. Did you sign out yet? Have you requested the change? When are you leaving? At first, I answered normally. Not yet. I'm working on it. Soon. But the more he asked, the more something inside me shifted. Because this wasn't curiosity. This wasn't casual. This was urgency. And slowly, uncomfortably, I realized something. He didn't just want me gone. He needed me gone. There's a moment. A quiet, almost invisible moment. When something inside you settles. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Just a decision. No. That moment came to me one morning. Nothing special about the day. Same room. Same air. Same routine. He walked in like always. Confident. Relaxed. Like he already knew how the story would end. Did you sign out yet? Same question. Same tone. But this time, I didn't answer right away. I looked at him. Really looked. At the certainty in his eyes. At the expectation. At the way he had already placed me somewhere smaller than him in his mind. And for the first time, I smiled. Not out of politeness. Not out of habit. But because I had already made the decision. Actually, I said casually, like it didn't matter at all. I'm staying in this group. Silence. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just sudden. Like something had been cut mid-air. His face changed. And I wish I could describe it perfectly. Because it wasn't just disappointment. It was confusion. It was disbelief. It was the quiet collapse of something he had already celebrated. The smile disappeared first. Then the confidence. Then the certainty. You're staying, he asked. And for once, he didn't sound sure. I nodded. Just once. Calm. Unbothered. Like this had always been the plan. And then I turned away. Went back to my work. Like the conversation was already over. Like his reaction didn't matter. But it did. Because I saw it. In the silence that followed. In the way he didn't ask again. In the way something in him shifted. Just slightly. Enough. It wasn't loud revenge. There was no confrontation. No dramatic speech. No moment where everything exploded. Just a decision. A small one. Quiet. Almost invisible to everyone else. But not to him. And definitely not to me. Because for the first time since I walked into that room, I wasn't trying to leave. I wasn't trying to adjust. I wasn't trying to make myself easier to tolerate. I was staying. On my own terms. And maybe that's what bothered him the most. Not that I was there. But that I had chosen to be. Because people like him. They don't just dislike you. They build a version of you in their head. One that's weaker. Quieter. Easier to push out. And the moment you don't fit that version anymore, they don't know what to do. I didn't win anything that day. Didn't prove anything. Didn't change the system. The room was still the same. The routines didn't shift. And he didn't suddenly become a different person. But something changed. Something small. Something invisible. Something that didn't need anyone else to notice. I took something back. Control. Not over him. Not over the situation. But over myself. Over the decision to stay. To exist in a space that didn't make room for me. And take that space anyway. And maybe that's the truth no one talks about. Strength isn't always loud. It doesn't always come with a speech. Or a fight. Or a victory everyone can see. Sometimes it looks like staying. Like choosing not to disappear. Like looking at someone who expected you to leave. And quietly proving them wrong. And sometimes that's enough to change everything.